Failure, the word that tries to define your ending before you've even begun again. Failure isn't the opposite of success. It is the fire that shapes it, the bruise that teaches you how to stand, the quiet moment where your strength grows in the shadows. You fell, good. Now you know the floor. Now you know what it means to rise. Failure strips away the illusions. It rips the mask off perfection. It introduces you to who you are without applause. And if you can love that version, you're already winning. We talk about falling as if it's the end of movement, but gravity only pulls down to prepare you for the push-up. And just because you were denied today doesn't mean you're disqualified from tomorrow. Stop measuring your worth by moments that broke you. They didn't break you, they built you. Every mistake made you clearer. Every rejection sharpened your focus. Every not yet is not never. The ones who rise aren't made of ease. They're made of grit, scraped knees, late nights, and the voice in their head whispering, "Get up again." Let the world see you fail beautifully. Let them see you rebuild louder. Let them watch you become unshakable. Because failure, my friend, is just life asking, do you really want this? And every time you stand back up, your answer is louder than any victory. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the process that shapes it. We've been taught to fear failure, to see it as a red mark, a disqualification, a signal that we aren't enough, but that's not the truth. Failure is feedback, it's correction, it's instruction in a language most people don't take time to translate. When you fail, you don't lose, you learn, you stretch. You grow in places comfort could never reach. The mistake you made, it's proof you tried. It's evidence that you stepped into something greater than your safety. Success isn't born from ease. It's carved through disappointment, rejection, and setbacks. Every great story includes chapters of falling apart before coming together. Failure makes you pay attention. It sharpens your focus. It reveals your blind spots. And if you let it, it makes you better than you ever imagined. You see, failure strips the ego, it humbles the heart, and it builds the kind of strength applause can't offer. You learn what you're made of when everything falls apart. You learn what still lives inside you after the world says not yet. Sometimes failure is the doorway, the crack in the wall that lets you see who you really are. Not the polished version, not the performance, but the soul that still believes, still hopes, still rises. So don't run from it, don't dress it up or hide it, stand in it, learn from it, and keep going. Failure is not your enemy, it's your evidence, it's the blueprint, it's the mentor that every successful person had to face. Because in the process of failing, you're actually becoming, and becoming, that's where real success lies. Falling is not the end, it's a setup for rising stronger. It may feel final, like the door has closed and the light has gone out, but it's not over. It's never over. Falling is a pause, not a period. It's a break in the rhythm that teaches you how to breathe deeper, how to step wiser, how to come back with something the fall couldn't take. You hit the ground good. Now you know how it feels. Now you know what you can survive. Now you know where to push from. The ground is not your grave. It's your ground zero, your foundation, your new beginning. Strength isn't built when everything goes right. It's born in the struggle, in the silence, in the moment you look at the mess and say, I'm not done. Every fall is an invitation to rise with more purpose, to get up with more intention, to return not just standing, but standing taller. Life will knock you down, people will count you out, circumstances will test your will, but rising is always your choice. And every time you choose it, you become a little less breakable. You're not defined by the fall, you're defined by the rise, by the courage to stand back up when your knees are shaking, by the fire in your chest that refuses to be put out. So don't see the fall as failure, see it as fuel, see it as the moment you gather yourself, your strength, your reason, and rise again. Falling doesn't mean you're weak, it means you tried, it means you dared. It means you showed up, and every time you rise after the fall, you carry with you the kind of power that comfort can never give. Failure reveals your true self without validation or applause. When everything falls apart, the noise fades. The spotlight vanishes, and the crowd that once clapped may fall silent. But in that quiet, you meet the version of you that isn't performing, not trying to impress, not chasing approval, just standing there raw, real, and honest. That's the moment truth begins, because when you're stripped of the praise, you begin to ask, who am I really? What matters to me now? What do I still believe in, even when no one's watching? Failure doesn't flatter. It doesn't sugarcoat. It doesn't care how many followers you have or how perfect your plan looked on paper. It humbles you. It introduces you to the parts of yourself that success tries to hide. Your doubts, your fears, your insecurities, but also your resilience, your grit, your ability to rise when there's no applause to encourage you. It's easy to feel confident when things are working, easy to feel strong when the world approves. But who are you when it all falls apart? That's when you find your truth, your why, your center. Failure strips away the layers, and what's left is something far more powerful, a self that's not built on praise, but on perseverance. When no one's clapping, will you still show up? Will you still work, still dream, still believe? That's where authenticity lives. That's where your deepest strength begins. Because the version of you who survives failure, who keeps going when no one sees, that's the real you. And that version is unstoppable. Each setback has a purpose. It brings lessons, clarity, and resilience. It might not feel that way in the moment. When things fall apart, when plans crumble, when doors close without warning, it feels like failure. But look closer. Behind every delay is a direction. Behind every disappointment, a deeper understanding. Setbacks slow you down for a reason, not to stop you, but to sharpen you. They ask questions that success never will. What do you really want? What are you willing to endure? What needs to change in you before you move forward? It's easy to rush through life chasing achievement, but setbacks force you to pause, to reflect, to reassess what matters. They strip away the distractions, they challenge your patience, and they teach you that timing isn't always in your control, but preparation is. Every setback offers a mirror. It shows you what still needs healing, what still needs growing, what still needs strengthening. You may lose something in the process, an opportunity, a relationship, a moment, but what you gain is vision. A kind of clarity that only comes from facing resistance. And in that resistance, you build resilience. You learn to bend but not break. You learn that being delayed doesn't mean being denied. You learn how to keep showing up, even when nothing around you says you should. The greatest transformations don't come from smooth paths. They come from detours, from stumbles, from redirections. So when the setback comes, don't just ask why me. Ask, what is this teaching me? Ask, how can I grow from this? Because sometimes the purpose isn't in the outcome, it's in who you become along the way. And if you listen, if you learn, if you lean in instead of giving up, you'll discover that every setback was actually setting you up for something stronger, something wiser, something more real. Rejection is redirection, not a definition of worth. It stings, yes, when the door closes, when the call doesn't come, when the answer is no. It can feel personal, it can feel final, but it's not. Rejection doesn't mean you're not enough. It doesn't mean you're unworthy. It doesn't mean your dreams are invalid. It simply means that path wasn't meant for you, that timing wasn't aligned, that what you thought was the way forward was actually just a step on the way to something better. Rejection is often protection from settling too soon, from staying too small, from missing what's really yours. We think a closed door is the end, but it's often just a redirection to a door you never knew existed. The world may not always recognize your value, but your worth isn't up for debate. It's not determined by approval. It's not decided by someone else's yes or no. You are still worthy, still capable, still destined for more even if they didn't choose you. Sometimes rejection is a gift in disguise. It frees you, it nudges you, it sends you searching for the path that actually fits your soul. You don't have to beg to belong. You don't have to chase what isn't chasing you back. And you don't have to shrink to earn acceptance. Let the no teach you, not define you. Let it build resilience, not resentment. You're not being denied, you're being rerouted towards something more aligned. More true, more you. Rejection doesn't close your story. It simply turns the page. And if you keep reading, you'll find out the plot gets better. So when the rejection comes, don't let it sink your spirit. Let it spark your search. Not for someone else's approval, but for your own direction, your own voice, your own power. Grit over perfection. True success is built through struggle. Perfection is a trap, a shiny illusion that keeps you waiting, fixing, overthinking, afraid to move unless everything is flawless. But grit gets up when it's messy. Grit tries again when it's tired. Grit doesn't wait for perfect conditions, it shows up in spite of them. Success is not born in clean lines and flawless timing. It's carved in the chaos, formed in the fire, built on the days you keep going when everything says you shouldn't. We idolize perfection, but it's grit that actually gets things done. Grit says, I'll try again. Grit says, I'll learn from that. Grit says, this setback won't stop me. It's not the one who starts perfectly who wins. It's the one who refuses to quit. Struggle doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. Struggle means you're growing, stretching, becoming. True success lives in the moments no one sees, in the quiet work, the late nights, the repeated failures, the invisible effort, and through it all, grit keeps you grounded. It reminds you why you began. It holds your vision steady even when the road ahead looks uncertain. Perfection fears mistakes. Grit learns from them. Perfection chases approval. Grit chases progress. Perfection breaks under pressure. Grit becomes pressure's equal. You don't have to be flawless to be powerful. You don't have to have all the answers to begin. What you need is the will to continue, the courage to endure, and the heart to rise every time you fall. So don't wait to be perfect. Be gritty, be real, be relentless, because success doesn't belong to the flawless. It belongs to the faithful, the persistent, the ones who fight forward with dirt on their hands and fire in their chest. Pain becomes purpose if you keep standing up. It may not feel like it right away, when your heart breaks, when your plans collapse, when the weight feels too heavy to carry. Pain doesn't always come with clarity. Sometimes it just feels like surviving another day. But in every breath you take after the fall, you're building something strong, something lasting. Pain carves space. It empties you of what you thought you needed, so something deeper can take root. Purpose isn't born in comfort. It's born in the moments you didn't think you'd make it through, but did. When you keep standing, even with shaky legs, you start turning pain into power. You take what tried to break you and build with it. Not in spite of it, but because of it. Pain reveals what matters. It strips away the surface and takes you to the core. It asks who you are when everything else is gone. And when you answer with action, with movement, with refusal to quit, you transform the hurt into healing. The tears you cried, they watered strength. The wounds you carried, they became wisdom. Each time you rise, you carry the lesson forward. You carry the scar, yes, but also the story, and that story has weight. It has value, it has the power to light someone else's way. Purpose isn't always a grand vision. Sometimes it's as simple as being the proof that you can walk through pain and still create something beautiful. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep getting up, keep breathing, keep believing, keep building even with broken pieces, because pain, when carried with courage, becomes a torch. And every step forward, every rise from the dust, makes your life a map for others to follow. Don't fear failure, embrace it. It's a teacher, not a verdict. We grow up thinking failure is the end, that it's a stamp of disapproval, a label that says we aren't good enough. But failure is not the final word. It's a lesson in progress. It's feedback from life, showing you where to adjust, where to improve, where to go deeper. Failure doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're building something real. You're not supposed to get everything right the first time. You're not meant to master without mistakes. You learn by doing, by falling, by finding out what doesn't work so you can discover what does. The most powerful people in the world have failed more times than you've even tried, because they understood something most people miss. Failure is part of the process. It's not shameful. It's not weakness. It's not a reflection of your worth. It's a reflection of your courage, your willingness to risk, your decision to show up and try, even when the outcome is uncertain. Fear will tell you to sit it out, to stay safe, to wait until you're perfect. But failure whispers, move anyway, because the only thing worse than failing is never starting. Every failure brings with it a seed, a lesson, a redirection, a deeper understanding of yourself. You don't need to be afraid of that. You need to welcome it, sit with it, ask it what it came to teach you. Let failure be your guide. Let it sharpen your skill. Let it toughen your spirit. You are not your mistakes. You are not your outcomes. You are the one who keeps going. So next time you fall short, don't hang your head. Lift your eyes. Take the wisdom, take the growth, and take the next step. Because failure isn't the end of your story. It's where the real story begins. You're not disqualified by failure, you're being refined through it. Failure doesn't erase your potential. It doesn't cancel your calling. It doesn't take away the fire that lives inside you. It simply shapes you, molds you, strips away what's no longer serving you, so what's meant to last can finally rise. You may have fallen, you may have lost, you may have felt the sting of disappointment, but none of that disqualifies you. It deepens you, because the strongest people are not the ones who have never failed, they're the ones who refuse to stop after they did. Refinement isn't comfortable. It's not easy. It's not quick. It's the quiet, painful process of being stretched beyond what you thought you could endure, of facing the truth without looking away, of rising again when everything inside you says stay down. You are not being punished. You are being prepared, prepared to carry more, prepared to lead with authenticity, prepared to walk with wisdom because you've known what it's like to fall. The pain you feel isn't proof of your failure. It's the heat of transformation. You are in the fire, but you're not being burned, you're being forged. The crack in your path isn't the end of it. It's where the light gets in. It's where you learn what matters, who you are, and what still lives within you. You don't have to be perfect to be powerful. You just have to be willing to learn, willing to keep moving, willing to trust that this breaking is leading to becoming. So don't count yourself out. Don't walk away from your purpose just because the road got rough. You're not broken beyond repair. You're being rebuilt for something greater. Let failure refine you. Let it make you wiser, stronger, braver. Because you are not being disqualified, you are being made ready. The comeback is always louder and built in silence first. Before anyone sees the rise, there is the stillness, the quiet, the lonely in-between where you're rebuilding from the inside out. People may forget you, they may count you out, they may assume your silence means surrender, but in the silence you're not quitting, you're crafting. You're growing in places no one can see. It's in that hush of solitude where your resolve is sharpened, where your vision becomes clearer, where your spirit regains its fire. Comebacks are not made in noise. They're born in the work done without applause, in the tears cried behind closed doors, in the nights you whispered to yourself, "I will not stay down." The world celebrates the return, the victory, the spotlight, the triumph, but you'll know the truth, that long before they clapped, you were doing the hard, hidden work, building your strength, healing your wounds, finding your voice again. A true comeback isn't just about returning, it's about rising higher because of what you learned in the fall. It's not loud at first. It doesn't need to be, because something powerful is forming when you rebuild in silence. Don't rush it, don't resent the quiet, let it shape you, let it steady you, let it prepare you for the moment when the world finally sees what you've been becoming all along. The comeback doesn't need an audience to begin. It needs your heart, your commitment, your belief that even in the dark you are moving forward. And when it's time, when you step back into the light, your rise will speak volumes. Not just because you returned, but because of who you became when no one was watching. The comeback is always louder, but it begins in the silence, and that silence, it's sacred, it's necessary, it's where greatness begins. So if you've fallen, if you've failed, if you've faced rejection, silence, or loss, remember this: you are not done. You are not disqualified. You are being shaped, strengthened, and slowly set on fire from within. This moment, the quiet, the pain, the uncertainty, it is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your rise. Let failure teach you, let grit carry you, let purpose find you, and when it's time, rise. Rise with truth in your chest, with fire in your step, with every scar turned into wisdom, because you weren't meant to break. You were made to become.